Welcome back to Emily A to Z. My name is Emily and today is my October TBR. Starting off strong with our book clubs, there are a few that I don't currently have or that I don't have an idea of what the book is going to be yet because of timing, but that is okay. Like the October pick for our family book club, no idea what that's going to be because we haven't had our September meeting yet. I led September and our pick was Beheld by Tara Shea Nesbitt. We're waiting on a couple people to finish up reading the book, and then after me it will be my husband's aunt. She will pick, and I have no idea what she will pick. I think she tends to do like historical fiction, so historical women's lit, that's my guess. Moving on to the Read with Pride book club, which is a book club that my local library hosts. The book of the month for October is Carmilla. I don't have it yet. My hold is being shipped, but I still can tell you what it's about. So Carmilla by J. Sheridan Le Fanu. I've never read this, like classic. Oh, pretty girl. In an isolated castle deep in the Austrian forest, Laura leads a solitary life with only her ailing father for company, until one moonlit night a horse-drawn carriage crashes into view, carrying an unexpected guest, the beautiful Carmilla. So begins a feverish friendship between Laura and her mysterious, entrancing companion. But as Carmilla becomes increasingly strange and volatile, prone to eerie nocturnal wanderings, Laura finds herself tormented by nightmares and growing weaker by the day. Predating Dracula by 26 years, Carmilla is the original vampire story steeped in sexual tension and gothic romance. The next book club reading challenge is also hosted by my local library, and this year the theme is to read a book from different genres. In October the genre is fantasy, and the book that they have picked, that I don't have yet, is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, and I guess this is book one in the Radiant Emperor duology. I did not know that. This won a bunch of awards. She Who Became the Sun reimagines the rise of power of the Ming Dynasty's founding emperor. To possess the mandate of heaven, the female monk Zhu will do anything. I refuse to be nothing. In a famine-stricken village on a dusty yellow plain, two children are given two fates. A boy, greatness; a girl, nothingness. Of course. In 1345, China lies under harsh Mongol rule. For the starving peasants of the Central Plains, greatness is something found only in stories. When the Zhu family's eighth-born son, Zhu Chongba, is given a fate of greatness, everyone is mystified as to how it will come to pass. The fate of nothingness received by the family's clever and capable second daughter, on the other hand, is only as expected. When a bandit attack orphans the two children, though, it is Zhu Chongba who succumbs to despair and dies. Desperate to escape her own fated death, the girl uses her brother's identity to enter a monastery as a young male novice. There, propelled by her burning desire to survive, Zhu learns she is capable of doing whatever it takes, no matter how callous, to stay hidden from her fate. After her sanctuary is destroyed for supporting the rebellion against Mongol rule, Zhu takes the chance to claim another future, her brother's abandoned greatness. Let's move on to the book clubs and reading challenges hosted by none other than Kayla of Books and Lala. First up is the Buzzwordathon. September is to read a book that has a violent word in the title, and I am choosing to read a book that I own, and that is Murder at Teal's Pond, Hazel Drew and the Mystery That Inspired Twin Peaks, written by David Bushman and Mark T. Gibbons. A brilliantly researched reinvestigation into the nearly forgotten century-old murder that inspired one of the most seductive mysteries in the history of television and film. In 1908, Hazel Drew was found floating in a pond in Sand Lake, New York, beaten to death. The unsolved murder inspired rumors, speculation, ghost stories, and almost a century later, the phenomenon of Twin Peaks. Who killed Hazel Drew? Like Laura Palmer, she was a paradox of personalities, a young, beautiful puzzle with secrets. Perhaps the even trickier question is, who was Hazel Drew? Seeking escape from her poor country roots, Hazel found work as a domestic servant in the notoriously corrupt metropolis of Troy, New York. Fate derailed her plans for reinvention. But the investigation that followed her brutal murder was fraught with red herrings, wild goose chases, and unreliable witnesses. Did officials really follow the leads, or did they bury them to protect the guilty? The likely answer is revealed in an absorbing true mystery that's ingeniously reconstructed and every bit as haunting as the cultural obsession it inspired. For the buzzword cover challenge of the month of October, it's to have a weapon on the cover. And I am choosing to read a book that I own and have owned for a very long time, Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This is number 1 in her Simon Snow series. I have never read it. I know nothing about this series. All I know is that my sister gave this to me because she loved it. And this is book 1. We've got a sword. We have a wand. There's a dragon. Simon Snow is the worst chosen one who's ever been chosen. Perfect. That's what his roommate Baz says. And Baz might be evil and a vampire and a complete git, but he's probably right. Half the time, Simon can't even make his wand work, and the other half, he sets something on fire. His mentor's avoiding him, his girlfriend broke up with him, and there's a magic-eating monster running around wearing Simon's face. Baz would be having a field day with all this if he were here. It's their last year at the Watford School of Magics, and Simon's infuriating nemesis didn't even bother to show up. Carry On is a ghost story, a love story, and a mystery. It has just as much kissing and talking as you'd expect from a Rainbow Rowell novel, but far, far more monsters. And I have owned this for such a long time that it is like yellowing. And then for the Literally Dead book club pick in October, Kayla decided to do like a backlist pick, which is perfectly fine by me. Sometimes it is hard to get a hold of all of the like new releases, and that's totally fine. I'll get to it eventually. So she picked The Treasure Hunters Club by Tom Ryan. This is a mystery novel. Ooh, there's a map! I like a good map. Everyone in my family has killed someone meets the Goonies in The Treasure Hunters Club. A rollicking murder mystery set in a seaside town filled with pirate lore, family secrets, unforgivable grudges, secret societies, and of course, a treasure lost to time. Welcome to Maple Bay, Nova Scotia. Ooh, and it's Canadian. Perfect. For nearly a century, people have ventured to the idyllic seaside town of Maple Bay in search of a legendary lost pirate treasure, but locals know there is more than just gold buried in the sand. As the paths of three strangers converge in Maple Bay, the truth is about to be blown wide open, but not before the bodies start to pile up. Peter Barnett is rapidly approaching 40 with little to show for it when a mysterious letter invites him to Maple Bay and the mansion his estranged family has called home for generations. 17-year-old Dandy Feltson is isolated and adrift following the death of her beloved grandfather until his final request and a tantalizing clue sets her on a mission to solve the mystery he spent his entire life chasing. Cass Jones has given up on her dream of being a successful author when an unexpected opportunity lands in her lap, a house-sitting gig in remote Maple Bay, where she stumbles on the perfect subject matter for her breakout book, and the handsome sailor who might be just the person to help her research it. Peter, Dandy, and Cass have never met, but they're on a collision course with each other and the mystery that has defined Maple Bay for 2 centuries, and none of them are prepared for the shocking truths that may or may not still be buried there. Ooh. Oh, and I just saw the chapter titles. They're not numbered, but they have titles themselves. Love that. And the last book club that I am participating in is the Morbidly Curious book club. Every month they pick a nonfiction book that covers some of the more unseemly side of life. And for the month of October, it is Ghostland, An American History and Haunted Places by Colin Dickey. An intellectual feast for fans of offbeat history, Ghostland takes readers on a road trip through some of the country's most infamously haunted places and deep into the dark side of our history. Colin Dickey is on the trail of America's ghosts, crammed into old houses and hotels, abandoned prisons and empty hospitals. The spirits that linger continue to capture our collective imagination, but why? His own fascination piqued by a house hunt in Los Angeles that revealed derelict foreclosures and zombie homes, Dickey embarks on a journey across the continental United States to decode and unpack the American history repressed in our most famous haunted places. Some have established reputations as the most haunted mansion in America or the most haunted prisons. Others, like the haunted Indian burial grounds in West Virginia, Native American, please, evoke memories from the past our collective nation tries to forget. With boundless curiosity, Dickey conjures the dead by focusing on questions of the living. How do we, the living, deal with stories about ghosts, and how do we inhabit and move through spaces that have been deemed, for whatever reason, haunted? Paying attention not only to the true facts behind a ghost story, but also to the ways in which changes to those facts are made, and why those changes are made, Dickey paints a version of American history left out of the textbooks. One of the things left undone, crimes left unsolved. Spellbinding, scary, and wickedly insightful, Ghostland discovers the past we're most afraid to speak of aloud in the bright light of day is the same past that tends to linger in the ghost stories we whisper in the dark. Moving on to, last but not least, Magical Stitches, which is of course what I run. It is a reading and cross-stitch group run through Facebook, where every month we read a different book set by a theme or a book series that I pick, and cross-stitch prompts that revolve around the book that we read are also there. So you can stitch, you can read, you can do none of the above, whatever. But this year we have been reading through a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, and we are on book 10, which is The Slippery Slope. We are continuing on past the events of the Carnivorous Carnival. This is the first time I believe we see that the siblings have been separated. Sunny has been taken by Olaf and his crew, and Klaus and Violet are trying to get back to her. And so I believe this book is following their journey to reassemble, reunite. There we go. In addition to the book of the month, if you will, I do set 3 additional reading challenges. There is always a title challenge, and then there are 2 additional challenges that can run the gamut of having page length to having an item on the cover to an author status to a trope or something, just to get you reading different things. So besides Slippery Slope, for the title challenge in the month of October, you need to read a book that features some sort of relationship in the title. Think brother, mother, husband, wife, father, relationship titles. So I am reading, hey, it's book 2 of the Simon Snow series, because I also own it. I'm going to read Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. Simon Snow is back and he's coming to America. The story is supposed to be over. Simon Snow did everything he was supposed to do. He beat the villain, he won the war, he even fell in love. Now comes the good part, right? Now comes the happily ever after. So why can't Simon Snow get off the couch? What he needs, according to his best friend, is a change of scenery. He just needs to see himself in a new light. That's how Simon and Penny and Baz end up in a vintage convertible tearing across the American West. They find trouble, of course. Dragons, vampires, skunk-headed things with shotguns, and they get lost. They get so lost they start to wonder whether they ever knew where they were headed in the first place. That was a tongue twister. With Wayward Son, Rainbow Rowell has written a book for everyone who ever wondered what happened to the Chosen One after he saved the day. And a book for everyone who was ever more curious about the second kiss than the first. Come on, Simon Snow, your hero's journey might be over, but your life has just begun. And that does seem really sweet to me. Ooh, and we also we're jumping perspectives within chapters. Very interesting. Don't look too far on. But also, look how, the size difference. Thickums, not so thickums. How many pages is this? It's over 500 pages. Sweet Jesus. Not including the acknowledgements. It is 517 pages. And then Wayward Son is, 354? And I'm sure the series continues. I mean, they are kind of hot. I'm not going to lie. It's fine. Anyways, your next prompt is to read a book with a 1-word title. And I am going to read Nicked by M.T. Anderson. I actually bought this while we were on vacation in... Where were we again? Where did we... I don't know. When we were vacationing in Cape Cod. We went to a bookstore and I picked up this. The year is 1087 and a pox is sweeping through the Italian city of Bari. When a lowly monk is visited by Saint Nicholas in his dreams, he interprets the vision as a call to serve the sick. But his superiors and the power brokers they serve have different plans for the tender-hearted brother Nicephorus. It's fine. Enter Tian, or Tian, a charismatic treasure hunter renowned for liberating holy relics from their tombs. The 700-year-old bones of St. Nicholas are rumored to weep a mysterious liquid that can heal the sick, Tian says. For the humble price of a small fortune, he will steal the bones and deliver them to Bari, curing the plague and restoring glory to the fallen city. And Nicephorus, the dreamer, will be his guide. What follows is a heist for the ages as Nicephorus is swept away on strange tides and alongside even stranger bedfellows to commit sacrilegious theft. Based on real historical accounts, Nict is a swashbuckling saga, a medieval novel noir, a meditation on the miraculous, and a monastic meet-cute filled with wide-eyed wonder at the world that awaits beyond our own borders. And then the last prompt is to read a book that is less than 300 pages. I have chosen Model Home, which is a newer release. It came out last year. By River Solomon, clocking in at, including the acknowledgements, 286 pages. Excluding the acknowledgements, 282 pages. So, under 300 pages. I believe this is a haunted home story. The three Maxwell siblings have kept their distance from the lily-white gated enclave outside Dallas where they grew up. It wasn't being the only black kids in the neighborhood that pushed the children to flee, but rather the strange and inexplicable things that began to happen in the house as soon as they moved in. Was it some cosmic trial, a demonic rite of passage into the upper class? Whatever it was, the Maxwells, steered by their formidable mother, stayed put, unwilling to abandon their home, terrors and trauma be damned. As adults, the siblings finally got away from the horrors of home, leaving their parents alone in the house. But when news of their parents' deaths arrives, Esri is forced to return to Texas with their sisters, Eve and Emmanuel, to reckon with the family's past and present and to find out what happened while they were away. River Solomon has turned the haunted house novel on its head. Unbridled, raw, and daring Model Home is a story of secret histories uncovered and of a family battling for their right to live, grieve, and heal amid the terrors of contemporary American life. I've mentioned it in a different video, but that's going to be released after this one, so I'm going to say it here. Kaden and I did not finish the Readathon Rebellion Readathon of September, but we are not giving up. We are going to continue playing it until we finish it. We are also, well, I say we. I am also going to participate in the Halloweekend Readathon hosted by Reads with Lexi. I will drop that in the description below because I want to. I do feel like I get through my TBRs when I have a reason to do them, and playing games has been really fun for me. It has helped me get out of like a reading slump, and I'm going to keep it up. So that being said, the Halloweekend Readathon is aimed to take place over the course of the 5 weekends in October from Thursday to Sunday in my time. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is supposed to be the Halloweekend. There is a game board. You move from room to room, and the concept is that you finish a room each weekend. You roll, you land on a square, you complete the prompts, you collect the ghost, you don't collect the ghost, you collect the ghost hiding equipment, so on and so forth, and you try and move from room to room each weekend. I am drawn to this for the fact that even though there is a different prompt for each square, it's not just a reading prompt. There are reading prompts, or there is like a fall, Halloween, autumnal themed activity you could do instead. And I really enjoy that. I want to try and read at least one book every weekend that fits the theme and my TBR. And then whatever else I land on, I could do that activity instead. And I do think that is a fun way to celebrate the season all month long with Caden. Obviously, even if he doesn't do this with me, he will benefit of us doing these fall time activities. And I really like that. I'm really drawn to that idea. So I'm taking it easy. And I do think a lot of the books on my TBR will fit, again, for September, the Readathon, and for the Halloweekend. And I am gonna keep those separate though. So there will be dedicated videos just for the Halloweekend, and then there will be continued videos just for the September Readathon, along with other videos, ideas that I have. I do have some hopefuls that I would like to get read this month as well. We'll see. That's what keeps me going. Okay, I have to go. I've got to edit this and get this up. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully I will see you all very, very soon. In the meantime, happy reading. Happy Halloween. Happy October. I love it.